Howdy, y'all. Voodoo coming at you. Gonna show y'all the original ugly pipe. Not the one I've been working on lately, but the original ugly pipe. Now, this is a Frankenstein thing. I'm gonna explain it. I bought a pipe at a garage sale quite some time ago. It's a little beat up, a little worse for wear. Not the prettiest of things. But I got it because it was the right size for the cigars that I was currently enjoying at the time. Stem was messed up on it. Okay. So, decent pipe with a messed up stem. I had a cob. Howdy, Todd. So anyways, I had a cob. This piece here had burned out right along the edge of it. And I was going to throw the cob away anyways. So I saved the stem, which is now, as you can see, all kind of jacked up. This is an old, and I trimmed that so it would fit in here. You know what? It does just fine for smoking. For looks, oh no, it's hideous. For looks, it's hideous. Well, inspired by my recent acquisition of a pipe that became ugly, in fact quite a bit uglier than this one, I decided it's time to show the original ugly pipe a little love. And I'm hoping that this crack right here, don't know if y'all are going to be able to see it, is not actually a crack, but more of a surface defect in whatever that lacquer is. So, here we go. 120, elbow grease, and don't mind me if I'm not talking much. I'm trying to get this to the point where I can maybe work on it a little bit and see if I can't change the life of my ugly pipe into something better than that. Now y'all will remember, if you've been watching long enough, I did this with a power sander the first time, and I probably tore up too much wood. Now I am only going to go with the 120 today. But I've been hearing good things. People have been commenting on the ugly pipe. I appreciate y'all coming through and discussing things with me, especially you, the professionals. Now yes, this is the same piece of sandpaper I used on the first one. The 120 grit, that is. And I can't guarantee that I'm actually going to do any good with this. Like I said, I bought this pipe at a garage sale for $5. $5. But it was an old companion, basically. This one I kept in a motorcycle jacket. It was really just really a good way to finish off cigars. If I can make it look anywhere near decent. I will maybe try to figure out a way to put a new bit in it. Stem, bit. Piece that goes into your mouth. So as we can see here, I have definitely widened that patch of nastiness there. It's kind of like buffing a shoe, really. Any of y'all who've ever been in the military understand exactly what I just said there. Okay, it's not like buffing a shoe, it's like unbuffing a shoe, but you wouldn't do that in the military, not unless you had good reason. I can't think of a good enough reason to ever want to unbuff a shoe. Alright, sure, in the military it'd been boots, but still. Bet you after you got out you got a pair of dress shoes. You still knew how to do it. I know I can flat put a coat of shoe leather into a shine in a hurry. So last time it took me about 15 minutes to finish sanding the whole pipe. And that was with the power sander. So it's probably going to take me maybe 20-25 minutes. Could be 30. Again, it's coming off pretty easy. It's not really fighting me on this. And yes, I did buy this this particular pipe in rough condition. But like I said, $5 at a garage sale. There wasn't a maker's mark on it, again. So there really wasn't a good way to try and track down the origins of this pipe. Then again, maybe somebody decided to refinish it their own selves at some point in time, and they might have taken that maker's mark off of there on accident. From what I understand, the guy who owned it before me he stayed with it until he was an old man, and then when his family put him off in the home, and the home was non-smoking, they made him give up the pipe. I'm willing to bet that he's long since passed. So I got the easy side done. Well, most of the easy side done. Lesson number 1 I learned on Ugly Pipe project number 1 was to do this portion. There's really no reason to use power tools. Okay, this takes a little longer without the power, but I'm in more control. Because I'm in more control, I'm going to create less damage to the pipe. Now, anytime you're sanding on a pipe, you are actually doing a little bit of damage by removing a small, thin amount of wood. Not much you can do about that, unless you want to go to a polishing grit, and then you're going to be here forever. we now at some point here in the near-ish future, this pipe, what I'm doing with this pipe anyways, is going up on my own blog. Hand's a little sore, so let me type that in real quick. That is that's www.pipes cigars views dot www.pipes cigars reviews, all one word, .wordpress.com. If y'all go back to some of my earlier reviews, you might hear me saying something about using the ugly pipe or the ugly briar for a lot of those reviews. And this is the one. I'm not going to tell you that I'm some sort of world-class pipe maker. I will tell you that when you don't have a stem to go in the pipe, you just kind of have to do your best. And if any of y'all want to comment on everything that I'm doing wrong, please go ahead. Feel you are more than welcome to tell me everything I am doing wrong. Almost all the way down through the old stuff. And I'm going to tell you, they've used a much darker wood on this pipe than on my other ugly pipe, so I might be up a certain creek. Then again, I might just make it happen. What's the worst that I can do? Screw up an already ugly pipe? What are they gonna do? Sue me? So I am going to tell you down here where, what do they call it? The strummel? The sticky outy part. Don't y'all love my improper terminology? Anyways, over here in the sticky outy part, I believe it's called the strummel, but don't get me to lying to you because I'm not for certain on that. It's extremely hard to get in there and sand. Partly because my fingers are much larger than the radius there. Pretty close though, pretty close. And look at there, I said it'd probably take me about 25 minutes, and so far the video's run about 25 minutes. So I'm seeing here a lot of little white spots in some places. That's actually what's left of the original coating. So you can see how it looks a lot whiter in some spots, like right here. That's what's left of the original coating. I've obviously got a little bit more hand sanding than I thought I was gonna be able to get away with. Because you definitely want to get all of that off of there. That is something that every pipe carver, maker, sander, every one of them has agreed on. You want to get all of that off of there. Now, first good news of the day. That's not a crack. That was just a spot where the lacquer had chipped or whatever it was. Yay, I don't need to send this out to be shortened by a professional. And yes, if at this stage I was to the point where I needed to have it done professionally, I would bite the bullet and just have somebody do it. Or if I had to have a band put on it. Though, you know what? I might have tried a band all on my own. I would have used some all copper instrument tubing that I happen to have. Which would make it look stupid, but then again, maybe it wouldn't. But yes, I actually learned from my mistakes. If you don't want to learn from my mistakes, that's fine. Hard lessons are sometimes the best lessons. But no, you do not need any kind of machine to do the sanding. To take an ugly pipe and start it on its journey to being your own. Will you have as pleasant a time as I'm having? Hey, if you don't, you need to be doing something else with your time. It's not all fun. Alright, almost there. There is a small little bit that I am not seemingly able to get to. And I am worried I might tear this up doing it. Looks like I got it pretty good. Alright. So y'all remember it started off with a shiny, somewhat destroyed coating. And oh, but I was at 18 years worth of an electrician. And I figure if I can make the other ugly pipe into a decent looking pipe, I might be able to do it twice. So play on the words lightning in a bottle. All right, so "30-ish minutes hand sanding. Not gonna try and lie to you or nothing. Took about 30 minutes, not too much more than. I didn't work up a sweat. I wasn't working crazy hard on it. Now, take some of this dust off of here. Okay, well, this is what I got now that I've gotten it back to wood. Now, this is my original ugly pipe. I've had this one for years. This is not the one that I recently purchased and have been working on. I took a crap ton of pictures before I started. When I finish with the whole process, I'm going to put it all on my little blog, which if y'all need me to type that back in, I will. And I think I am to that spot where I didn't think I was going to go this fast. Okay, just so we can see it. You see the little white right in here? That's actually old coating that I was sanding off, still on there. And I was bored. I'm going to tell you, I was bored. I mothballed this particular pipe shortly after getting my Savinelli. Once I got the Savinelli all the way broke in, I put this pipe away in a drawer and promptly forgot that it existed, because it was craptastic. I'm going to remind you how craptastic it is. It was not bought with a stem. I actually made this out of a chunk of corn cob and a piece I should have probably thrown out. And I just whittled it down until it fits. It's like a short church warden. But it smokes well. First thing I will always tell anybody, 100%, if it smokes well, it's still a good pipe. So I'm going to go inside the door, I'm going to grab the dye and a pipe cleaner, and we're going to put some black on this. I don't see any reason to wait any longer. If y'all don't want to see it, that's fine. If y'all want to see it, well, I'll be back in just a second, and I'm going to grab a little tobacco and a different pipe so it can sit there and dry while I smoke. And we can chat. All right. So let's see here. I brought a cob so I could smoke. Blank tin of tobacco. Let's remind everybody where we're going. This is the USMC Black from Pipings. Says it's not for sale for people in California. Recall Newsom, you can maybe be able to get your own product. I smoked one bowl out of the Ugly Pipe since I got to this stage here. Only one. So we can compare. We can see side by side. And yes, this one had bubbling like this one, but this one was much worse. And when I say much worse, I mean much, much worse. This one actually, it wasn't too bad, but I called it the Ugly Pipe because it had enough ugly to it that, well, I couldn't call it the Pretty Pipe. I'm betting Yardism is right now talking about how he's got to get a recall vote for Gavin Newsom so that he can somehow be able to actually work on pipes his own damn self. Because, let's see. It's leather dye. Perfectly clean pipe cleaner. Reinsert the stem so it doesn't get all over me. Pick a little up, paint it on. Now, if anybody's wondering why I always go with the black first, it's because if you try to do a contrast stain, you have to start with the darker color. If you start with the lighter color, when you put the darker color on there, it's going to completely overrun everything you've already done. So if you're going to go with a yellow or a green or a red and a black, that's right, start with the black. Plus, I kind of like the way it looks when I first get done and it's Raiders colors. Not that I'm a fan. Nobody would ever accuse me of that, would they? And as you can see, you just kind of massage that in like as if it was doing something all so hard. It's not hard at all. It's not difficult in the slightest. Now, some people would light this with a cigarette lighter. I am not a fan of that. I'm not doing that. That's not happening here for me. I am going to let this sit for 24-ish hours. Maybe a little bit less than 24 hours, just because I've got a feeling I'm going to be working on this during tailgating for Chad. I mean, I don't see any reason to not work on it during tailgating, if I can work on it during tailgating. It's going to depend upon level of moisture. If it's raining like crazy out here, I probably will not work on it. Okay. Today is trash day with 80% humidity but dry. So the first time I did this, I used this dauber. I got stain all over me. It was horrible. Also, you don't want to try and scratch your face or wave loudly to the trash men. Okay, so from here, intentions are, I will be sanding back with 400 grit. I've been told you can use 200, 220 right there in that area. I don't have any. So I'm going to be sanding back with 400 grit. I got plenty. And once I get this 400 grit sanded back, the intentions are to dye it with a yellow. $222 said hut hut. Oh, sorry, wait, we got a little crazy again. So the intentions then are to go and dye it yellow, just as I did the other ugly pipe, which, as I said before, this was an ugly pipe. It's still not beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it's not beautiful. I'm not trying for beautiful at this stage. It will never be beautiful. But it's so much prettier than what it was. I screwed it up when I did it the first time, and you know what? That's fine. It was a process of learning. Happy that I could oblige my learning curve, getting it into everybody else. I probably am going to come back through and do another quick rub down with that 800 grit. because I am feeling some spots where it still feels like maybe the dye didn't get removed quite effectively. And you know, I'm working on, now that this one is dyed, now of course I am going to put out a disclaimer right now. I have no idea how this is going to go, and if it does go well, I might end up taking that piece that used to be out of a corn cob. Yes, I took this piece from a corn cob and I turned it into a piece that fits that pipe because it didn't have a bit to begin with. What am I supposed to tell you? I'm an old redneck type person. There used to be other words that at one point in time was actually sort of socially acceptable, which I'm not going to repeat because it basically is the N word. And then the next portion is rigged. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying. It used to be acceptable to say such things. I was in the Army before it stopped being acceptable to say such things. Didn't think nothing of it. You know what? Neither did my battle buddy, who all the way through basic training, he watched my back, I watched his. About 6'3" and about 200 pounds solid muscle. Name was Tyrone. Good guy. Liked him a lot. Dislike how he ended up. I'm not sailing the 7 seas, Skip. What's that in the Navy? Always on your knees. Village people didn't sing nothing about the Army, just the Navy and the YMCA. Wonder why that is. So Sutliff, rum and maple. It's always a little sticky. So in case y'all are wondering what I did there, I pulled the check tool out, stabbed it in there, spun it a few times, just to give it a little more draft all the way down to the bottom. Just going to smoke. I meant for you to hear it, Skip. What's the matter? So, real quick, Friday. Oh, that's what Skip was. That's what Chad was asking. Friday. If my son is going to be in the area on Friday, as soon as I get off of this, I'll be chatting with him, which is the only reason I still have Facebook, is so that I can have Facebook Messenger, so that I can still converse with him reasonably easily. And if he says that I'm going to be, well, if he says he's going to be here on Friday with me, we won't actually be on. I'm sorry, but I'm going to spend my time with my son. Very rarely do I not spend time with my family here in the YTPC. That would be one of those times. But it is also possible that instead of Friday, we might have it set up for Saturday. Unlikely event that it might be Sunday. I don't want to do lunch and then them have to drive back to San Antonio. Now, sure, it's only 200 miles, but it's 200 boring miles. Till you get all the way into San Antonio, it's just flat. Ugh, nothing. Nothing to do till you hit Luling. And then it's just pull in to hit Buc-ee's so you can top off, and empty. You'd understand if you'd ever been to a Buc-ee's. I'm kind of sort of hoping that I hear, hey, you're going to be a grandfather. I wouldn't mind being a grandfather while I'm still young enough to actually play around with the kid a little bit. I don't want to be like the 60-year-old that's got a 3-month-old and is going like, screw this, I'm not doing this. They don't actually make it there, but they do have it there. Ready, heated, ready to go. I actually know which meat house does all the processing for Buc-ee's. Steph, the problem there is my knee gets worse and worse every year. I want to be able to get down on the floor and crawl around with my grandson or granddaughter, whichever. Grandchildren. I don't want to be 60 years old and need somebody to come drag me up from the floor if I screw that up. Nope. I am not the kind of person that gets the noisiest toys on the planet just for my grandchildren to take home to their parents. My son was actually a good kid. Oh yeah, see, they'd get up on a chair to hang with me. They wouldn't get up on a chair to hang with Skip. I think it's the hat. Oh, look at that hair. Yeah, now y'all know why I wear a hat. It does what it wants. I can brush it, and 3 minutes later, it's going to go evil Ernie. That's a phrase that my wife coined. She calls it the evil Ernie hair. I don't think you saw a gruesome twosome hat. I don't see a gruesome twosome hat. I mean, I will tell you this though. I wear this when I walk around with the wife. let's just say that most women feel flat when she walks into the room. I like it. But people look at her funny because I'm wearing a Hooters hat. And of which she's literally told some people who have made comments, so what? He can go to Hooters any damn time he wants to. I know what kind of woman he likes, and they're not there. I've literally heard her say this. Got a good wife. Oh, and I've actually taken my mother-in-law to Hooters on Mother's Day. Twice. And lived to tell about it. Nope, it says 83. $83. Does say 83. I bet you're not as blind as I am. I can almost see my face clearly from here. I'm only about 4 inches from the screen. Hi, Dell. How's it going today? Glad to see you could make it in. You kind of missed out. I did a very, very short little piece on a new ugly pipe that I'm working on. That's the new ugly pipe, which is actually the original ugly pipe. So far it ran me a whole 45 total minutes, and I've been just kind of sitting here shooting the breeze. Now, Dell, you like to say that you always have newbie questions. And I always like to tell you I don't mind taking them and fielding them as best as I can. So if you've got 2 or 3 of them, open forum. Good time to voice some care, concerns, or whatever you got. I know Steph and Skip and Chad are all willing to help out new people. Well, maybe not as much as I am, but they all do. Let's see. Chad says he's smoking Old Joe Krantz, in case anybody missed the OJK. All right, so Kirk is okay. So Kirk, I'm just trying to make sure I'm seeing this correctly. You're saying you're clear of the corona, which, God, I hope so, because that's awesome. Okay, so the new ugly pipe, which is the old ugly pipe. Again, black and yellow dye, but I'm trying to go one step better. Each time I try anything, I'm trying to do one step better than what I did just before. First time I used a power tool and I screwed up some things. And I know I screwed some things up. I can accept that because they're my screw-ups. And this time I did all hand sanding, but both pipes had the same exact problem. They had spots where the finish coat had bubbled up, and it had gone from something that was a decent looking pipe from the very, very first to it looked bad. I mean, if you want to see a pipe that has polio, you have to rewind this video all the way back to the beginning and you'll see it. There's little leprosy type sores all over it. Voodoo Queen, one of my favorite blends. It's actually where I started reviewing of pipe tobaccos. Of course, I was doing it on Twitter, and Phil, the Briar Report, said, dude, you got to start a blog or something because nobody's doing this. So when y'all hear me advertise that howdy y'all, it's Voodoo, that's where it comes from. Yeah, that was it. That's here's the peek at the first ugly pipe, the original. Or are you talking about the one that I've been working on? Make sure to show off its good side. Yeah, I thought about axing Twitter, but I have so much fun pissing people off. And it looks like that's all that Twitter's going to be, is a bunch of people I can piss off in the future. And so what if they ban me? As soon as I'm unbanned, I'll piss somebody off and get banned again. Loads of fun. What are they going to do, sue me? They can't. Freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want to say. My name's Donald, not Trump. I got a cat named Trump. I do appreciate that statement there about it's looking great. Starting next week, Tuesday night Zoom meetings on Chad's station. Okay. I'm game. I found out that you were doing your Zoom about 15 seconds after you finished it up. And I was like, damn it. So I was the first one that actually watched your Zoom meeting all the way through after you finished your show. I know, because I was looking at the thing and it says live and Chad. I was going, oh, cool. And I hit it, and somewhere between me hitting the thing that said live and it loading in, you had finished up your thing, so it went all the way back to the beginning. Good show though, Chad. I appreciate it. Steph, when they decide they're going to come and round me up and put me in a camp, they already have the rest of Texas.
They'll be speaking to my two cousins, Smith and Wesson.
And at that point, they should know, just go ahead and shoot me and be done with it, because there's no way they can re-educate me. I'm not an easy, simple mind, and they know this. No, not the one where it was that you were on YouTube telling people that you were going to Zoom, but like at the end of your Zoom thing, I got notification just as you were finishing. I tried to catch it while you were still there. Yeah. One thing that's really, really cool about being a Raiders fan, I've got all this black clothing. Hard to see in the dark. And I know the area. This thing's going to get tore off of here if it keeps doing this. It is trying to grow into a forked beard, whether I like it or not, and not an evenly forked beard. The one serious thing that gathering people up and sending them to re-education camps is that when they get to Texas, they have the choice of they need to go after Texas first, and they better do it in a lightning style raid, or they better come last. And when they show up last, they know they're going to get a lot of people dead. Hashtag pound skip 2 or pound skip also. Okay, so that little thing where I've warned people I sometimes have a tendency to piss people off. Whoever did not think through the hashtag #MeToo movement. I'm old enough to remember when the hashtag was still the pound symbol. So when I see the hashtag, first thing that goes through my head is pound. So hashtag #MeToo reads as pound me also. Now it's supposed to be about female sexual rights, and the whole connotation kind of turns when you think pound me too. y'all can be mad at me all you want. But I didn't tell people that that's a hashtag. I kept telling people that's the pound symbol. And if anybody doesn't like it, they can hashtag sand. And if I was really brave, I'd show you the socks that my aunt knit for me. Sorry, family joke. And my wife's right over there. And she's staring at me like she's going to slap the shit out of me later.
Nope, I'm ignoring you.
That's the British money symbol. I believe they call it the pound. But to me, it looks like a funky looking F. Which tells me that the British money system is effed. I did warn you. I warn everybody. I might say some things that are slightly offensive. Oh yeah, pretty much everybody's money is effed. Now money is so digital that you don't know what it's worth from minute to minute. Hell, second to second it can be changed. Reminds me of a slightly off-colored joke. I'm going to tell it anyways. So if y'all are okay with it, I'm going to tell it. If you're not okay with it, I'm going to tell it anyways. If you don't like it, you can boo me on my channel. That's fine. So this Chinese guy goes into the bank, takes a couple $1,000, exchanges it into the Chinese, I think it's yen. I know Japanese is yen, but anyways, guys go into China. So he goes and takes some money and puts it into, or goes to the bank, gets it exchanged. So there we go. He gets to the airport and his flight gets canceled. And he immediately turns back around, calls up his company, says, hey, what's going on? And they're like, hey, you know, we don't have to do that. We're going to have to, like, take our operations out of China. That's just the way things are going. So the next day, he goes back to the bank. He brings his money back in. They hand him $1,500. And he's like, whoa, hey, wait. Yesterday, I brought in $2,000, and you handed me this amount of money. I didn't get to China. I brought it back today, and now you're only going to hand me $1,500 back. What the hell? The first person is like, sorry. Let me go get the bank manager. The bank manager comes over there. Here's the same story. And the bank manager says, well, you see, fluctuations in As soon as he gets that word out of his mouth, the guy sits there and says, "No, fuck you white guys." Probably should have let Martin do that on Friday night. Yeah, you almost don't even hear it coming until it comes out, and then you're just like, "Oh man, come on." No, those aren't bad jokes. Those are just dad jokes. Unless, of course, you're dyslexic, and then bad would apply. So, because I've had nieces and nephews, the wife gets the Lego magazine. I'm going to tell you one of the coolest and strangest things I have ever seen. They have a grand piano, like just under 4,000 bricks, that actually plays music. You got to put 6 AA batteries in it to get it to play music, but it somehow syncs up with your phone and can play music, and you could actually play music on it. Of course, it's $350, but I thought it was pretty cool. Well, as Chad and, of course, Todd has both pointed out, it definitely can be both bad and dad jokes. But yes, money, all money, is now in such a state of flux that from second to second, you have no idea what the fluctuations are going to be. You could start off with a couple $100,000 in the morning and be penniless by noon, and be a millionaire by 5 a.m. the next morning. Just, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Hey, does anybody know when Eddie Gray's coming on? Dr. Eddie Graybo. I'm not trying to eat into his time. About 6. Okay, so there's plenty of time here. Okay. I'm not staying on for a whole nother hour. There's not even a chance. Really, I came out to sand and dye black a pipe. And I think think it came out well, honestly. Yeah. The first time I wanted to move really, really slow just so that I could see how fast or slow or whatever things were going to go along. Now things are really moving along pretty fast when I do this. I can get 3 or 4 of the steps that I was doing done in no time. But, learning curve. I started with a plan. This is what I'm going to do each time. Now I know what steps I can combine. And I know what I'm looking at, so I can keep going without having to constantly stop and check to see if I'm screwing something up. Come on, Steph, you don't curse that damn much. I do. I even turn it into a joke, sort of. Uh-oh. So Dell, are you gonna tell that joke to somebody at some point, somewhere there in the British Isles, United Kingdom? No! Steph can cuss up enough to make a sailor blush. Whoo! And my mother-in-law definitely cusses. And she worked around dock workers and sailors, so I'm telling you. Yeah, she can straight up make your ears singe. Steph, it's not a secret. It was never a secret. But that's okay, because you're just right around the same age as my wife, sort of, more or less. And, there's this certain chemical imbalance that happens to most women that get to around that age. And I'm not going to say what age that is. But it is actually a medically proven to be a chemical imbalance. And it tends to make most women quite hostile. You mean PMS and Well, I've been through it at least 2 times previous. Let's see. My mother-in-law's gone through it at least once. Feels like it still hasn't finished. My mom, my sister, my wife, my first wife when she was pregnant. And I don't know if that chemical imbalance is anywhere near the same, but I've been told that it can be. And I trust the person who told me that, because my mom actually worked for that doctor. She was an OB-GYN So I would think that she would probably have some knowledge there. Just saying. Oh yeah, onions and spinach is good. What I could really go for though is a bowl of greens. Oxtails, butter beans, bowl of greens. Mmm. Maybe some fried okra. Some people say that that's soul food. I just call it food. It's what I grew up with. Maybe not the oxtails. Just remember, you take grits, you pour them into a bowl, into a pot of boiling water, and you let them boil for about 15 to 20 minutes. And if you don't like that, there's this lawyer named Vinny that'll drive his big ass Cadillac over, and he will explain to you that somehow grits do not magically absorb water faster on your stove than anywhere else in the grit eating universe. And yes, it was the biological clock ticking like this that got me thinking about that. Don't worry, Skip, I had you back. She can't reach out and grab hold of me from here, and she might forget before February. Chances of a woman forgetting anything. Chances of them holding a grudge and deleting you at the first opportune situation. Yes, I know. I'm horrible. One of these years, I might actually get my cob to look as dark as somebody else's. Maybe if I stain it. What do you think? Stain it? Though I believe, if I remember correctly, the country gentleman actually starts off with a little bit of a black stain in the cob anyways. I'm Cobb Gentleman. Well, don't worry, I am not going to stain my cob just to try and catch up with Chad. Who you kidding? That cob could have a 1,000 followers within 10 minutes of it going on air. Well, cobs have not given up on you, Dell. They just take a little time to break in. It's a different break-in cycle. But there's nothing wrong with saying that you're completely out of cobs. If you don't like cobs, you are not going to find that you are the only person on the planet who doesn't like them. There's some very well-respected members of the YTPC community that don't like cobs. I think first one that always comes to mind for me is Mike from Briar Blues. What I always liked about cobs is that I could just do whatever I wanted to with the cob. And I didn't have to worry about if I couldn't get to cleaning it right away. It was cheap, low maintenance. So I never really worried too much about, oh, I've got this or that or this other to worry about. I did whatever I wanted to. Over 100-year-old cobs. I'm sorry, that sounds a little corny. I also kept cobs around because if I'm ever driving, it was an easy, even if it burned up, so what? I burned up a few, most all of them, because that's what I would smoke while driving. It was just easy to always have something there. Never had to worry about. I mean, what, you're out 10 to 20 bucks tops? I will say that if you're really, really into burleys, the burley blends, you're going to find cobs are nice because it sweetens it just a little bit. Yeah, you can get cheap briar pipes, especially if you're watching eBay. RNA Treasures. they've got some French briars right now for I think they said it was $6 until they sold out. Well, $6 plus shipping. Not sure how much shipping would be from Florida to England, but and they're unfinished. And I've really seriously thought about getting some I've really seriously thought about getting some of those RNA Treasures briar unfinished ones and just setting up shop, just knocking them out one right after the other. I will say I've had really good luck with the RNA Treasures. Now, I've had 2 of them that had little pinholes that burned out. Just hidden flaw somewhere in the briar. But with a little pipe mud, you can mud it back up and go back to work on it. One of the best reasons to have a cigar is pipe mud. By the way, I've heard some people say that you mix baking soda in with your ashes. Has anybody heard that? Quite often, I just go over and get fly ash from a nearby power generation location. Of course, that's Rosenberg. That's not really nearby, but see, that's what I was always thinking. You just need to use the water and ash and get it to a paste and basically pack it into the bottom of your bowl. And then make sure to push a pipe cleaner through the hole, otherwise you're going to end up plugging up your pipe. Okay, conical top to bottom or conical bottom to top? So is it V up or A down? And I believe if it's shaped A down, they call them volcanoes. And I've got various different ones, and I've had some where I've had to like literally just grind the side off of them and get them back to a straight. Okay, so more like an inverted pyramid going into the bowl. I don't have any funnel, for lack of better. And if somebody knows the right wording, go ahead and type it in. I don't mind. I don't have any funnel shaped bowls. Most of mine are all pretty much straight up and down. Now my Falcon, the interior of the bowl is meerschaum lined and it is straight up and down, but the outside is slanted up. So at the very, very top, it's much wider than at the base. It smokes very well, but the bowl is small, so it doesn't smoke for very long, which is why you almost never see me using it. And I am kind of a fan of like humongous bowl, because if I'm going to take the time to smoke, I'm going to take my time. If you like it, that's what counts. Anybody tells you different, tell them #sand. Because the end result is the only person that has to be happy with smoking your pipe is you. If I don't like the way your pipe looks, I don't have to buy one. And I should know enough to shut the fuck up and not say nothing about your pipe. Hello, I'm the king of ugly pipes. And if they don't like that kind of a statement, tell them to come talk to me anyways, because I'll set them straight right here on my channel. If they still don't like it, I don't care. There's no reason that we as a family community should be picking on somebody because of one or other of us has some sort of way that we like things and somebody else doesn't like them that way. Chad's saying double it. Wondering why all the pipe makers aren't making more funnel shaped bowls. I'm not sure. What'd you do? Fix all of Arkansas? Come on, Cliff. So, Cliff, before anybody else tells you, this is the original that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. Well, I guess this would be day 10. So from where it started to where it is now, it was an ugly pipe and now it's actually kind of pretty. And this is my original, the Ugly Briar. And yes, that is a piece of a corncob pipe that has been refashioned to fit into that stem just because that's what I had to use and that's what I used. Yeah, it's a decent looking pipe now. I mean, I gotta tell you, I am completely shocked at how much time people have spent covering up decent looking wood with craptastic finishes. I mean, the first one I showed you, I'm still going to wax it with some Caranubo wax and some sort of buffing wheel of some sort. And the second one, I don't know yet. It's going to depend upon what it looks like. So Dell likes funnel shaped bowls, and that's cool. I like more of a straight bowl, but I like big bowls, and I cannot lie. But like I said, I like to really sit down and enjoy a smoke. I do like my Savinelli, which is like an oversized golf ball shape, 320. I hear there's this guy named Cliff Higgins that likes his Philip Rivara pipe. Chad likes a bunch of pipes, but it's the workhorse, the country gentleman that always gets noticed. I do have a bent general. Now, that's a heck of a pipe, because it makes this one look small. Yeah, Eddie Gray's pipes, the ones that he sends, are always good. And his packaging is ridiculous. You're not going to have a scratch on your pipe that was caused by the post office. And, well, let's see. Briar Blues Mike has that new calabash, and that's just so pretty. And so there's so many different ways to make pipes. Yeah, I literally had to sharpen my knife mid-opening for my Savinelli. I was just like, there's another layer of, and there's another layer of, damn it, and now there's another layer of. Finally got to it, and I was starting to worry if I was going to carve into it before I got to it. One of these days I'll save up some money and get myself a Rivara. Unless I win one first. Chad, will it be on your show on Friday? Or is it just that it's on the way somewhere? Yeah, afraid of that. Yeah, no doubts UPS is slow. Well, yep, that's what it is. It is smoked out. No, it's not. It had an ash layer that couldn't get the flame through. There we go. Happens. So should I just stay on for the next 30-ish minutes and we can go straight over to Eddie Gray's? Chad, I'd be cool with that, but I'm going to say the problem would be getting people to actually enter their information in. It's like registering guns. Not everybody's going to want to do that because some of us have to worry about the insurance and what it's going to do if they start knowing we're suddenly on pipes. Well, I have just had the decision made for me. My phone is trying to tell me that it is running out of power very soon. And that's going to be horrible. So instead of losing y'all in mid-sentence or mid-statement, I'm going to get out of here a little bit early. As per always. Take care of yourselves and each other as best you can. Try to make sure that yourself comes first. And as I always like to say, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I will see you soon. And everybody, be well. See y'all on Eddie's later. Bye now.